all aboard for your chance to win $1,000 every week until December 28th. That's right, $1,000 cash just in time for the holidays. To hop on board, just head to churchillmortgage.com and punch your ticket to the Churchill Express giveaway. Visit churchillmortgage.com for your chance to win big.
This is a paid advertisement. NMLS ID 1591. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Equal Housing Lender. 1749 Mallory Lane, Suite 100, Brentwood, Tennessee 37027.
With Starbucks Holiday Blend for Nespresso Virtuo, now exclusively at Target, there are even more ways to share the joy. Savor every smooth and festive sip all holiday season with friends and family at home to fill every indulgent day with cheer.
Educate, empower, enable, impact. Thank you for tuning in to That Will Never Work podcast, where we share inspiring information and personal experiences related to business and the entrepreneurial journey from those who are leaders in their respective field. Now, here's your host, author and business coach, Maurice.
Thank you very much for tuning in today. We have a special guest who's going to talk to us about not being a vision killer, right? You know, he said that he was a vision killer. He was a lawyer after all. And it became apparent that after crushing his wife's vision to help 1.5 million babies, something had to evolve. And a lot of times we all need to evolve into something that might be a little bit different than what people may appear or see for us, right? Or maybe what we might have heard over the years, right? Our environment, our community, whatever it might have been. And this individual right here, he has done that. He's going to talk to us today about building our vision. And is that vision, is it clear? And if it's not, maybe he'll give us some tips, or we'll forward you to his information, of course, which will be in the show description. Thank y'all very much for tuning in today. I bring to you none other than James Ballidis. Thank you, James, for coming on today.
Maurice, thanks for having me on. I'm excited for us.
That's cool. That's cool. So let me ask you this, right? You talk about killing a vision, right? So what? Why would you say that as a lawyer you were a vision killer? What made you really want to change that?
Those are great questions. So as a lawyer, my job was to protect my client, protect, in this case, my wife, do everything that I could to make sure that I could foresee what would be the problems and try and steer us around those problems. And it's a lofty goal, right? Just exactly the same as your parents did with you.
Right.
Exactly the same, right?
Right.
And yet, when we look back on our lives with some of the things that our parents, our grandparents, and those influential to us did, they were actually steering us in the wrong direction. Sometimes they were telling us to do things we didn't want to do. Sometimes they were telling us things that we should do, even though it left our heart out in the street, right?
Yeah,
and
right.
we're just basically doing something we don't like doing because they said we should do it. That's a vision killer. And I think that we need to address that. I think we need to change it. I think we need to evolve from where we were. Because back then, I mean, they did things to survive. They did things, with an understanding of what was available. But nowadays with the phone and the computer, the internet, we can communicate with so many more people. We can be so much more interfaced. And so we need to change. And that's just taking a hold of that vision killer.
So first, let's talk about change, right? Change is not easy, especially those that might consider themselves introverts or, just, when you put yourself in a position that gets you outside of your box, outside of your comfort zone. How would you encourage someone to be able to embrace change, even if it's just a little bit, because you got to start little. Sometimes you can't go all the way out. But, how would you encourage someone to embrace change?
The reason that we usually don't want to make a change is because we don't want the confrontation of it, right? We don't want the risk and the confrontation. If we're introverted, we don't want people to come after us, come chasing after us. We don't want people, if we say, hey, I want to do this, they go, oh, you don't have that money. It starts hurting us, right?
Right.
It's inside. We go, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm not qualified to do that. Maybe I don't have the skill sets to do it. Maybe I don't have the money, or I don't know the right people. We need to change that, because the truth is, right now, I want you to think a little bit bigger. We can make so much more change than we were trained to do when we were growing up. So the millennial now, they pull out their phone and they go, hey, I got this idea. They put it on Facebook or wherever, they don't use Facebook. Sorry. They put it on Instagram or something like that,
TikTok,
right?
something.
And then they get 500,000 people looking at it going, that's a great idea. You should do that. We don't do that as a little bit older crowd, do we?
No, not often.
No way.
Right.
And so we need to be taking a chapter out of that, what's going on right now, and apply it to all of our lives. Now, they struggle with implementation, but that's setting it aside for a moment. The idea of what we can do and can't do needs to be expanded. So I would say the first thing for us to do, have that open mind and recognize, and I'll give you a couple of tools today, but recognize that you can do what you want to do. You really can. What you really truly want to do, if you understand what it is, and if you start collaborating with people. Those are the two key components, I think, that are necessary. And then I'll tell you in a moment here, as our conversation goes, the specific phrase you need to say when a vision killer comes after you, because they're there. They're waiting for you.
So what is a vision? Let's just be clear. What is a vision?
Personally, I think a vision is something that fulfills your internal values. It's something, it doesn't have to be about work, but usually people focus on work or on how they want to raise their children, how they want to have a life that they choose to have, right? The thing is, we've always had our visions only to ourselves. This is my vision.
Right.
Hey, my vision is that I'm a lawyer and that I practice law in this area. And we hold it so closely to ourselves that nobody else really cares. They care for you. They don't care about your vision. But imagine if you changed, because centrally to that, we're afraid to say it, but centrally to this, your vision is attached to a value that other people share. Always. So when you start going deeper into why it is you want to be a lawyer, why is it you want to be an accountant? Why do you want to be a podcast host? What's the purpose of you wanting to do that? At first, you might say, well, I want to influence people, and that's fine. But there's a deeper meaning in there, and we have to dive down a little bit. That's what I do in the book. We dive down a bit. We go deeper into that value, that change you want to have happen, that transformation that you're involved in, so that you can start connecting with other people who have that same desire. Once you connect with people, you're invigorated in this vision, and the vision is to do things that transform the world into a better place. Otherwise, why are we here? Just to make money? Nobody cares.
Right. Well, I'm going to tell you, to be a podcaster, my wife would tell you that I just want to talk. So that might be the deeper part for me, but
I would tell you this. If you were on a desert island, I doubt you'd want to just sit there and talk.
Right.
You want to talk to influence. You want to influence for a reason. I don't know what the reason is because I don't know you well enough. But we could dig into that for a whole half an hour and have fun with it.
Most definitely.
But I'll bet you if we spend a little time with it, there's something inside of you that's that vision of the world you want to create, the place that you want to change, the outcome that you want to see happen that tickles you, that makes you just all excited and giggly.
Right. No, there is.
Like imagine somebody, I know we talked just a little bit beforehand. Imagine somebody hearing your podcast and making a decision that they have a new trajectory on their life. And they write you and say, hey, you know what, Maurice? Because I listened to your podcast and I heard, that bald-headed guy, I think I want to do this. And I went out and did a couple of those steps and it's working and it's all to you. I bet you'd turn all bright red, brown, and you'd be all happy and you'd be grinning and you'd feel really good because I suspect some of what you like to do is tied into that.
So in talking about that, how can vision impact, us personally? How can it impact culture, profits, leadership, success? How can vision do that, especially one that's real clear?
Well, working with CEOs, it's super easy because they're delivering either a product or service. And I tell them, your vision cannot be related to your need, your why, nor can it be to your client if you want it to be a big vision. So servicing a client isn't good enough. And what you really want to do is you want to attach to something else that's that core value I was talking about. When you get into that core value, it's something you wanted to do. A lawyer, I'll bet you if I interview 10 law students, 9 of them will tell me they want to do justice. That's why they're going through that effort of becoming a lawyer. They want to do justice. And so there's something there, right? Especially in today's environment, we want to change things.
Right.
Imagine the impact if you went to law school with that intention, and then you were provided with you collaborated with people. You're going to make that change within law. That's a lot bigger than just becoming a lawyer and working in a law firm. See what I'm saying?
Yes, most definitely.
So the change starts happening from that. Or you're going to change the social environment, the social fabric of what we're doing here. Or you're going to do something in the environment, or you're going to do something with your own personal career that's going to change that particular silo of development. As an example, it starts from the bottom, right? Government help needs to change. I mean, we're so bureaucratic.
Yeah.
Imagine if it started from there instead of having to be from the leadership only. And imagine also, honestly, if we had leadership right now in a country, I mean real leadership, where everybody saw a vision together, and we were once again going toward that vision instead of where we end up right now, where everybody's bickering at each other. Nothing's getting done, right?
Right. So what is the secret to creating a compelling vision, or one that can galvanize the troops, if you will?
First, I think it needs to be bigger than you and bigger than your client or the people you immediately serve. Start thinking in terms of even bigger than that. And so the podcast, as an example, we're using you. I don't know why we picked you, but you're on the hot seat, my
That's
man.
all right. I can
So
take
the
it.
The podcast host can't just think of his audience.
Right.
What change can happen bigger than your audience? Those people around start hearing about your podcast. And they start saying, hey, you know what? Either I want to do something like that, or I want to create something like that, or I want to implement some stuff I'm hearing from what Maurice says, et cetera. So it's got to be bigger than you. The second is you need to collaborate with others. The reason I say collaborate is alone, we feel that first conversation we had, oh gosh, I'm kind of introverted. I'm not big enough to handle this. I don't know if I have the horsepower to do this. I'm not sure I can get it done. I don't have the knowledge. I don't even have the people, to talk to. Right. So we want to start collaborating with other people. And the third is announce it out, because once we start announcing out a vision bigger than us, what ends up happening is so many more people start joining that vision, and it becomes an integral entropy of success. It just starts building on itself.
So what is the difference? What would you say is the difference between a vision and a mission? Sometimes people get those two confused.
Yeah, it's a great question. I believe a mission and goals are much more immediate focused. You may never complete your vision in your lifetime. It's that big, right? But a mission and a goal are interrelated in that, okay, I'm going to take these steps because this is my mission in support of my vision. So let's do an analogy of space exploration. Our mission is to have or develop a spacecraft that's going to take us out above the atmosphere and start taking photographs, let's say, of where we want to go, right? And our mission is to deliver a craft that will do that with an inexpensive or proper opportunity without being overly costly that we can get done through private funding, let's say. And then the goals are, okay, this year we're going to do this, next year we're going to do that, next year, and then we're going to launch, right? But the vision is for us to travel to another galaxy. And right now we don't see how we're going to do that.
Right.
So the mission supports the vision. We don't yet see how we're going to achieve the vision, but we're undaunted in pursuing it because it feeds everything below it. Did that help?
Oh no, most definitely. Yeah. those of you that's listening, be sure to comment on the show and let us know, does this help you out? Because like I said, there are people that are they're not sure whether or not they want to start a business. They're not sure where to begin. What is a mission statement, a vision statement, even a value statement? So and they, and some people are too nervous to go back to school and like, hey, I'm too old to go back to school. But that's what the podcast is for, is to help each and every person that's listening to move forward.
Yeah, and there's a great difference between a visionary and a doer, and I think that's a good thing for people to assess themselves. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty easy to do it. If you're a visionary, you say things, you have ideas, you throw them out there, and it doesn't seem like anybody gets you.
Right.
You are a visionary, because visionaries typically are hard to follow. My wife's a visioneer. I mean, I make a fun joke about, because I'm a doer. She can walk down the hall with those little yellow sticky pads, mm-hmm. and she can write an idea and she throws it up in the air, and it's my job to go catch it and see how I'm going to put all those together, because she's got an idea a minute.
Right.
And
right.
just keeps throwing them up there, and I don't know where they're going, because mm-hmm. she's visioning, right?
Right.
If you're that person, I want you to realize that in leadership, your role is to slow it down just a little bit so that other people can understand what you're talking about, mm-hmm. and let the doer catch up to you. And here's how you control them, because the way it feels for you is that I say something and they immediately kill my vision. So mm-hmm. here's what I want mm-hmm. you to say. I want you to use this phrase, use it exactly. Hey, you know what? Sounds like you're talking in execution. Play with me in vision for a bit. Now that converted me from a wholehearted vision killer into a visioner. That phrase, hey, sounds like you're talking about execution. Mm-hmm. Play with me in vision for a minute. Because there is a distinction. All vision killing occurs in how you're going to get it done, mm-hmm. in the execution of the plan. All of it. I have not yet found anybody to give me a valid challenge to that concept, that all vision killing occurs in how you're going to get it done, not in the vision itself. Hey, I want to feed the world. You don't have the money. You don't know the people. What's wrong with the vision? Mm-hmm. Nothing. The execution is where the vision killer plays. So if you use that phrase, you'll find them enrolling into, okay, let's play a little bit. Mm-hmm. And we use the word play because when we're children, we're great visioners. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We're taught to be vision killers. As we grow older, we're taught by our parents, by our teachers, by the people around us to start being a vision killer. So that's if you're a visioneer. Now, suppose you're a doer. Mm-hmm. You're really good at doing things. In fact, you seem to be able to grasp it faster than most people, and you execute perfectly. You're the person who normally starts the company. Mm-hmm. And you grow it to a certain level, or you get it, you have an idea, you see what it is, you immediately implement, and you get it to a certain level, then you get and those levels depend upon who you are and what you're doing. When you're stuck, it's because you've made the most efficiency you can and you're not visioning. What would be great is if you take the time to say, hey, to yourself, hey, I'm vision killing. Because doers vision kill, because they're good at making sure that practical decision is made. You want to change that. You want to say to yourself, hey, you know what? I don't need to vision kill here. What could I do that would even be bigger than I can see doing right now? And start playing in vision, and then surrounding yourself with other people that do that. And then you have this extraordinary uptick. So a couple of my clients have gotten double and triple revenue because of just that one idea after 2, 3, 4 years of flatline. It works great.
So one of the things that comes to mind when you talk about, hey, play with me with this vision piece, right? So what's the difference between vision and daydreaming?
Wow. Should there be? I don't know. I've never been asked that.
Really?
That's a great question. Should there be a difference between daydreaming and visioning? I don't think so. Why not daydream? Why are we penalized for dreaming huge?
Right.
Taking a moment to think really big, to sit and I get it if you're daydreaming while you're during an exam or something. That might not be a really good outcome for you. But if you have a moment, why not be daydreaming? But here's the thing. I think that society has told us, probably correctly so, we need to be useful, right? We need to do something useful rather than just sit and kind of ponder the day.
Right, right.
And so we need to have some time for visioning, and then some time where we're going to take steps toward action, which is either the collaboration with or the actual steps of things you can see to do in preparation for what you want to do. So I would say the difference between daydreaming and visioning would only be that if the daydream is just simply to take up time, and the vision is actually tapping into something that's deep inside of you that you know is a value that others share, and you're going to go out and start sharing it with people.
You know, as you were speaking, I'm like, some people may feel as though their vision is just a daydream, and then they might not be able to take it to another level. So that's why I just wanted to clear that up a little bit, that maybe there actually are visionaries and have a greater goal or a greater dream or whatever it might be for them, or a calling on their life to do something more. So I don't want people to be discounting themselves and saying, hey, you know, it's just a daydream. It's nothing. It could be something more than that.
It's real, isn't it? I mean, that's real. And I think that's perfectly said. No, you're not daydreaming. Just because you have a dream or a vision that's bigger than something that you've ever tackled before, and it just seems insurmountable, you're not daydreaming, you're visioning.
Right.
And I think that's great. Don't discount that. I say, when I meet people and I start talking about vision and I start asking them, well, why? You know, why do you want to do that? And they start really getting in touch with that. You should see their eyes light up. You should see them feeling a sense of pride. They feel stronger. Their day has more meaning to it. They're, everybody around them starts to notice that they have this new energy. It's not just, I'm just, existing.
Right.
I'm actually contributing.
Nice, nice.
So you're not just daydreaming. I don't think you're just daydreaming when you're doing that. I don't.
Right.
Just maybe you've been told that you're not supposed to daydream. And maybe that's been wrong teaching, huh?
Right. You know, because you said
maybe you're not supposed to daydream when you have something immediately needing to be done. But when you have those moments where you want to vision, maybe it's completely okay to do that. In fact, I'd encourage you to do it, write it down, and start building on it.
James, thank you very much, man. I appreciate all the information that you have given today. But before we go, where can people get your information, follow you on social media, whatever it might be? What information do you have to share?
You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm a little bit on Facebook. I'm not a real big social media person out there every day. But vision-maker.net is the website that you can go to and check it out. I will have a book out in January. It's going to be on how to create your compelling vision. I wrote it for business owners and entrepreneurs. However, my wife, in fact, is wanting to do a companion to the book for parents and children to stop the vision killing earlier in our lives when we're really impressionable. So you can get the book, and you can sign up. There's no pre-sale here. You can sign up, give me your email address, and I'll let you know when it's printed, which is going to be in January, and then you can go out and get it. And that's at visionmakerbook.com. Visionmakerbook.com.
All right.
And I love it. I will speak to anybody about vision. So I have a 15-minute phone call you can have with me for free if you're stuck and you want to talk about vision. I do that this year. I'm gonna offer that. And so I have a way to do that on the website too. If you go to vision-maker.net, you can book 15 minutes with me, and you can tell me where you're going in the world, because I love the idea of collaborating, and I'll be your first collaborator if you need to.
Cool. James, thank you very much for coming on, man. I appreciate you. Now, before I let you go, though, my question I ask everybody, my would you rather question. Would you rather pick 3 doors or a fork in the road?
Ooh, I'm going to pick a fork in the road.
Really? And why would that be?
Because if I go down one side and I start to see that that's the dark forest that I don't want to be in, I can just turn around and go back and go with the other one. If I choose a door and go through it, I'm not sure I'm allowed to come back through. So.
Right. That's funny. James, thank you very much for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks. Talk to you later.
And everyone, continue to listen to That Will Never Work podcast.
Thanks for listening. Find us on social media at Chisholm Group LLC and check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, that will never work, or will it?
All aboard for your chance to win $1,000 every week until December 28th. That's right, $1,000 cash just in time for the holidays. To hop on board, just head to churchillmortgage.com and punch your ticket to the Churchill Express giveaway. Visit churchillmortgage.com for your chance to win big.
This is a paid advertisement. NMLS ID 1591. NMLSconsumeraccess.org. Equal housing lender. 1749 Mallory Lane, Suite 100, Brentwood, Tennessee 37027.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.